Good morning, everyone. Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. Markets are closed today, but we're still going to go through and do an update just as some preparation for the week. And I've got a lot to talk about. Well, not a lot to talk about. We're still looking at this overall downtrend. Bearish in a bear market is still our current market state, and watching for some support right here because we are close to some oversold extremes, which we want to keep an eye on. One of those is momentum, and we're starting to approach, getting closer to this lower range, which typically we get a bounce there. You can see sometimes there's a couple little hiccups in there. We've seen one, we've seen two on both of these. There's usually a couple little bounces in there. And so we're starting to see that we could, the more bullish scenario is that we start to get some support right here. If we do get some support and we actually get a little higher high than this location and can build up enough momentum to kind of break through that trend line, that would be the more bullish condition. That's got a lot of work to do for the market to actually get to that location, but it certainly could get an oversold bounce right here. That's the higher probability outlook, is that we're just going to get a shorter term bounce right here, and we'll be watching for things to slide. But as usual, if things change, we certainly change with it. We don't have to necessarily be married to one idea. That's not what we do. We look to see what the market is doing, and we jump on board until it shifts and it moves something, does something different, and then we certainly shift and do the other thing too. So whatever the market is doing, that's going to be our bias, and that needs to be what we focus on versus trying to be right. The market is always right. We need to be paying attention to what that is doing. In the shorter term, we're now getting sentiment which is pretty oversold as well, and you can see that location typically produces some kind of a little pop, and so we'll see what this week ends up having. It's typically a little bit slower week in terms of volatility and volume, just because of the holidays and people are not as engaged and active. So we'll see how that turns out. Buy sell ratio at that location where we definitely could get some another push to the downside. We may get a little rally. It could typically, this pattern ends up looking similar to this, where we kind of get that three-part move, like this. So this may be part one, similar to here, similar to here. This one was a little bit odd looking in relation to some of these others, but be watching for that this week. In terms of stocks to look at this week, we've got a decent little breakout here on HNRG. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. It's been showing up in the scans, but it looks like it's working on a breakout right now. And a couple of other decent looking patterns. There's a real long consolidation here on OI, potential breakout. It's got a good looking trend profile here. That breakout, if you're not familiar with that term, just means that we're looking for a breakout above this location, this resistance area. So it's not quite there yet, but it's working on it. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on. There's a handful of other stocks that are in the transportation sector. FNA is looking good. This is one of them. PANL, another potential breakout here. Again, this is that trend profile, some resistance here with this upper sloping trend line, and that typically produces a breakout. So keep an eye on that stock. That may be one to be watching this week. I think there was one other that was with that. AUI, gold stocks. Keep an eye on gold stocks. Those are the ones certainly to be looking at. Gold is setting up for a nice move higher. The gold stocks are going to do well, and coal has been doing well. Oil, coal, some of these commodity-based material stocks are still doing pretty well. So keep an eye on those. Scan through the new buy list today and kind of prepare your watch list, gear up for this week. If you don't have full access to the TradersPro site, you can sign up below with the link that says upgrade, and we look forward to having you. Have a great day today.